What is up guys, Andy Forrest Steam Runner here, and today we're comparing the Hoka One One MACH 4 to the Brooks Hyperion Tempo and the Saucony ENDORPHIN Speed. So welcome back to another video, and today, as I said, we're going to be stacking up the MACH 4 against the Brooks Hyperion Tempo and the Saucony ENDORPHIN Speed. Some of the first questions that were flying in on some of my initial reviews of the MACH 4 were, how does it stack up against the ENDORPHIN Speed? How does it stack up against the Hyperion Tempo? Now for me personally, these are non-comparable shoes, but today I want to dive a little bit deeper as to why I feel like that, but why this thing is going to be a solid fixture in the rotation for the remainder of this marathon training series. If you're excited for today's video, guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. We'll start with the MACH 4. So from early reports and early reviews with the MACH 4, I was very much led to believe that this is not only going to be a fantastic daily trainer option due to how lightweight it was, but also it's a great speedier trainer in the Hoka rotation, in the Hoka lineup. Now I have to say, when I stack this thing up against something like the Hyperion Tempo and the ENDORPHIN Speed, as I said in the intro, it just is a non-comparable. And for the simple reason, if you missed my first impressions and if you missed my speed and long run test video, a quick summary is I find this thing excels for marathon pace and below. Half marathon pace at a push, but anything quicker in this shoe, just for me, just doesn't do it. It's not quick enough, it's not poppy enough, it's not got enough snap in the shoe. And that's down to two things, in my opinion. Number one, the midsole and the outsole combination. The ProFly midsole, I really enjoy ProFly. Feels great in this shoe, feels great in the Rocket X and the Carbon X too, but I kind of feel like this massive chunk of rubber EVA on the bottom, which obviously is put there from a durability perspective, kind of kills and nullifies any pop that you might get from that midsole. That coupled with the standard Hoka early stage Meta Rocker design, geometry if you want, means that this shoe is once again a beautiful gliding shoe, something Hoka for me are absolutely renowned for, just providing cruising style shoes, but lack that cutting edge, shall we say, when it comes to that aggressive pop and snap. And that's exactly what this thing lacks compared to the other two shoes. So for me, those are the two factors as to why this thing doesn't quite stack up against the Tempo or the Speed. And in stark contrast, we have two shoes that really do excel in those faster paced sessions. The Hyperion Tempo down to, in my opinion, the midsole being absolutely phenomenal, and we'll come on to that very, very shortly. And the ENDORPHIN Speed, coupled with its speed roll technology, its nylon plate and the P-Bax midsole, is just a winning combination. But for me, the Hyperion Tempo actually comes out on top, mainly because I have used this pretty much from week one of my marathon training, and I have not put this shoe down, and this has topped this shoe. As a side note, this thing now has nearly 300 miles in it, and it is losing absolutely zero pop, absolutely zero performance. It still feels as good. So for those of you spending the premium price on this shoe, you'll be pleased to hear it's holding up really well. But the reason these two shoes do it so well compared to the MACH 4, in my opinion, this shoe, as I said, is all about the midsole. and the limited rubber outsole. You've not got much midsole there that's going to nullify any bounce or pop you get from this shoe. You've got a really decent stack in the front here, in the forefoot here, which really, as you toe off, gives you that pop and bounce that you're looking for in a speed shoe. That, coupled with the fact that it's nice and lightweight, just lends itself to those speedier paces. And similarly, as I just said with the Endorphin Speed, you've got the plate, you've got the speed roll tech, and you've got that P-Max based material in the midsole, which couples or combines together, I should say, to give you that super snappy feeling. If there's anything between these two shoes, it's that this thing is probably slightly more aggressive in terms of the pop and snap that you get in this. However, both of them provide that quick turnover feeling and that pop off that you want from those speedier day shoes, and that is the big difference between these and the Mach 4. But it's not all doom and gloom for the Hoka One One Mach 4. I'm not trying to make this a negative video about this shoe. In actual fact, I want to completely turn it on its head and say that actually this is a complementary shoe to the other shoes that I'm mentioning, the Hyperion Tempo and the Speed. This thing coupled with those other shoes would work really, really well. So for me, there's no direct competition. Yes, the similarities are the fact that it's lightweight, and out of all the three shoes, I have to say the fit on this thing is absolutely beautiful. But when it comes to those faster speeds, the midsole just isn't quite there. It's just a typical standard gliding Hoka shoe, just like what you'd expect with the Rocket X or even the Carbon X2. It's just kind of a lighter weight, maybe slightly quicker version of those, but certainly doesn't handle those really, really fast paces well, as opposed to something like this, which does. So when you couple this with this during your marathon training, during your half marathon training, you're going to get a fantastic combination. This thing is going to pick up the easy, moderate and marathon pace miles. This can also step in at the marathon pace miles and quicker interval work, speed work and the long runs. Not only that, this thing did 2.5 hours on my feet last weekend for the long run, covering 21.25 miles, and again doing fantastic. My feet were slightly sore at the end of it, but on the whole it held up really, really well. Likewise with the Endorphin Speed, it's going to do exactly the same job. The direct comparison in this video really is between the Tempo and the Speed. The Mach 4 for me is going to be a fantastic complementary trainer to either of these. Once again, you've got a fantastic easy, moderate and marathon pace shoe, and then something to pick up the pace in here is going to be your marathon pace, half marathon intervals, and then mix and match with the long runs. So as I said, 61 miles in the shoe so far already, only owning and running in this shoe 4 or 5 times. The mileage is racking up quickly, and I can assure you we're going to get to 100 miles really quick. Why is that? Because I am really enjoying the Mach 4. So again, as I said, this isn't a negativity video on this shoe. This is to show you guys that I don't see it as a direct competitor to these other two, but actually a complementary training shoe to them both. So I hope that answers some of your questions when you guys were firing them at me from the initial video in the speed and long run test about comparing the Hoka One One Mach 4 to the Hyperion Tempo and the Endorphin Speed. As I said, the more I've run in this shoe, the more I'm enjoying it. I'm surprised actually already at the mileage we have in this thing. It's rising rapidly, and that just shows you guys, it's not just me talking, it's me using the shoe and actually putting my money where my mouth is and saying, I really do enjoy this shoe. It's a good shoe. It just didn't live up to the hype that it was made out to be in the beginning, and now I've found where its specificity is. Now I've found its sweet spot. I'm using it a lot in that area and will continue to do so, and I guarantee you we'll be hitting 100 miles in this thing next week, once we've got this weekend's big 40k long run out the way. So as I said, this isn't a competitor to the Hyperion Tempo, it's not a competitor to the Endorphin Speed, but actually a complementary trainer in my opinion. For me, I think it's got to be going down there as something, as a great partner to one of those speedier shoes. And to be honest, if you're only going to have 2 shoes in your rotation, this and one of those shoes will be a fantastic combination. And I'd actually love to hear what your thoughts are if you guys have the Mach 4 and either the Speed or the Tempo, and what you guys think. Let's get that conversation going. And let's chat down in the comments below and let me know if you agree or disagree. I know a lot of people have had mixed emotions with this shoe. A lot of you agree with me in the fact that it was overhyped, but a lot of you are still relatively happy with the shoe itself. I can assure you I'm very happy with the shoe, just have to still say it was overhyped slightly, but that's not going to stop the thing ramping up the mileage and already being one of my favourite shoes so far of 2021. So there we go, that's my comparison between the Mach 4, the Speed and the Tempo. As I said, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on these three shoes. I'd love to hear what you think. Have you tested any of them? And what are you excited to see later this year shoe-wise? That's it from me today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Until then.